we strategize. Na the who here say and fire home and phone so nche ho. Abribi ameka se enipa timi ye party bone a party so timi enipa ye dey e bone. Anti ohwe na no thank you to I start here honorable Ken also MOB amnesty unity. But about me so ono so chebi unity nyina na e kabom. Usually in people, you know, when there is a sense of direction and there is a leader, I feel so be the airline. In with time, thank you to you. The pulley out. Me I'm referring to honorable Ken team. But na the question also no. Na ihunu say one more accounts bit my day. Atwa your pepe. But at the end of the day, thank you to a series of activities, a better police station elections. Budget party for adjoin ye be call congress ye be approve ye be say ye kan nyina bo wie ne ye leader me de mesusu say asomdwe e beba na say kwa asomdwe wo ho so wulusu election wi ya na obi ya odi ne wi be ya na e wo ho
understandable. Yeah. From the word go, thank you Toyi because opinions be bring the free party no aba man for charging. Was it a good one?
Yeah, it was just say is a neck decision. Na one say one mo na ye highest for say decision making body of the party, yeah. And osha there have been precedents to it, history. One more omonya kwenya akwas flabera and even presidential candidates in Inano.
Yeah,
this is not the first time. Inti ne kwanso and to be very honest and to be fair, ordinarily it should have even been Dr. Baumier's thank you to because one of the ballot paper,
of course.
Just that this year now quite novel, and one more say other candidates or more call prime minister enjoying it. So if you look at the motive and the intention, they are nanka and from so behind the anything, but that quite nipa ho ade. Na when was akunya to any pa de epre. Politicians say they more kwanya bia with any least opportunity bia no.
Take advantage.
They want to take advantage, market themselves, do the politics of it. And also na bia no afenu bi obi so any interest bia. A lot of times guy na the main actors, no?
Of course.
The main politicians na HD4 no. Sometimes people in their attempt to show so much loyalty and love to their candidate no, uzomako you over passionate. Na no maybe wo hokra na say a fantasy na akochia. Ndi nipa ho adwuma and also the say the BCC. But overall, I think people made their comments and their opinions. ABC and calling it off. ABC tension come too much. ABC be no back off with who so the marketing ho based on comments about ABC how this guy platform. But if you look at the overall motive there, at least symbolically no, it's good say we need partners we are a year juma a book so where they condom say. As to be the teach man and the anti man, we just have to take responsibility and move on. The only expectation I may penny say when you talk about thank you, they be say we are a people of culture, we are people of values. Abribia yeti Kwasi the nim kwan fa so ye de ete. Eka thank you to and commitment as say okwa obedas the edikan. Be a normal uncle you take responsibility for it as a leader. To that cry, it means say, as some girls have no some crazy team back for it say, penny or metumi na day, as so. Na what's say, the SCB a chair be a fire born in your day, a home and chair, nay move on. Ordinarily, that was what I felt should have been the key variables in the thank you to or the template that we will use in the thank you to. But, and yet, I don't want to blame anyone, but politicians, the Oma politician be our platform. Who's a year since the campaign?
Of course.
To the sense that by boy mobilizing them, don't do much here. Here our fans was running at those are, I mean, no my account. But at some point, you drew commercial. Honorable Ken felt to say the continuous presence in the thank you tone, be so much tension because, like I admit, Dr. Baumiana say any thank you tone. The other candidates are coming now, or supporters who say, oh. Also they have to also give you shine, but also believe you say no, you don't have to steal anybody's shine within the context of event na at the tension near there, but rightfully you pull out and allow the process to continue.
I see. I think that explanation Ghana need be and I think it was timely. Time nearby, no?
Yes.
Nah. I remember the very first time I hear you. Nah. You think the best person to lead the new patriotic party now should be Ken. I was like, hey, really, sir? I think now, what is it that a good number of you, when I say you, Momo Binomwa, baby, ever since Kwani Shedan Humo, Binipa Binomwa, as you say, for be big crown abba, Binomo dear, Momo Bidu, Mamma, Yamaka crown near there. But now a lot of people are coming on board. Why? What is it?
Say be a brew. I think say season behind the dynamics that plays out, and at every point they be a casa memo in a development. Say be a bema nipa as a tremor de akoyi na wanu etimako ano na say the kofo sika the American dream no. We can also have a Ghanaian dream. Omaim ha say be a brew yete. Oh yeah, young person. Na school, and I've read a lot of researches and statistics, but the nicest one pokure woman too scary. You know, say nkora we national service say kabi nkora mo we national service na no ya. It will take a minimum of 10 years for half of that national service bar to get permanent employment. Not women foreigners in their own country. The remaining half will still be searching for the next 10 years and so no permanent employment. Nkora we school. I've read other researches almost in Korea school. The state can only employ 2. Oh wow, Kromo how. Now all these are the basic challenges that we know as the people, and these are challenges. Nana me call GTV no more bot clip be. Na kuwa esi na bia kotoka beba, champo beba, we beba. And you know say the reasons they cited for those schools, you know, are the same reasons. You hear so ne at the 12 betianko for. So the principle and the point I want to make is that our challenges as a people has always been the same. But the bigger vacuum intimacy of your challenges also has more to do with leadership. So leadership counts, character counts. Now, Bribiano, your approach to building leaders to solve the basic challenges, i.e. unemployment, ebine jumso, ebine galamse, healthcare, agriculture, no money adeno. Abribia no ye de nkofo a ebi ebe from say career politicians na aba eno start fi Solomon mo bro Bible mo ohun akora no afa no apagya no wa kiss no nkofo wo ho nyina ne aboye sama no akowe de openkwara asempa ene minister na se bia MP na se mayor obeya nhyehyeye na ye recruit nkofo to maintain bia gates no ono na one day wa sheda fa camera si ne so no akogina gatem no tutu bi no atutre bi busa ho say let's put data on it gates na ye hu omo se bia obi a ope position oboma ati ofufu otu gatem no those one off events na ya hu no has it been able to solve our problems as a country for us? And for me, if we want to really address the challenges of our country, career politicians, it looks like we'll be the air bromo. And believe you me, people, the little hope or trust that them for politically exposed individuals, let me give you a clear instance. Mr. Mahama, I've always insisted, say, Mr. Mahama's second coming, Ghanaians don't really have much expectation from him. Why? Because they feel, say, MPP amemo certain standard on model yet any expectation no more pay free MPP amemo no yentima anya dey amomosa. So for me it is not the MPP which even lost, which even for example it's not Mahama who even won the election, but has more to do with the MPP losing the election, so that to the average Ghanaian, no, in the absence of what we expect to be good, then we can even go for bad, because it shows you how obia level of trust that people have in leadership near the ECOFOM. So me, at the country particularly, the Honorable Kennedy Japan campaign has to do with character counts. Character and a defining leadership. And now me come feed back because what is the vision of Honorable Kennedy Japan? I'm saying maybe a drone within the 21st century. We don't need vision again. We need leadership. Vision there. Me fear me phone call Google. I can be able to type vision for a country. Yeah, but more be brainy. I can't no. Maybe a drone. We need that leadership trait. We need that leadership to transform Libya. No? We need that leadership to transform Botswana. We need that leadership to transform China, Malaysia, no other Singapore, no money other. That is leadership counting. That is what I see in Honorable Kennedy. Of course, people have misinterpreted it. Yes, you or a temperamental. But Abribiano, Sebio, I will not sit here and pretend Honorable Kennedy Japan or a saint. No. Yes, I'll be very dishonest to myself and to Ghana. Then we have seemingly character traits. People will see some as weaknesses. People also will see some as strength. But it's about how you leverage it. Yeah, the nsuo esi ha cup esi ha near sell so guma. Ebu obo hunu say half full. Buso hunu say half empty.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you see it. Instead of me say me hunu temperament. Yeah, I agree. There are certain things ebi because honorable nyambo trek akra ho. But obi oye passionate about the bia no. One here the you be say address at the corner. Obeka tell so temperamental. Ebua.
Yeah.
Obi a oye obeka na adwena che no. That is a disciplined leader. Ba krom ha na oma ye wodwa ato ahini wo mu de. Wo ka wadwene kire obi a obeka just say bi kura wona mo na onye dey onka no kre. So we need to leverage the character traits, the lifestyle. Ba ko team employ about 7,000 workers. Build steel industries, and the cherry tomato factory, eba, fruit factory, cold stores, and all the businesses are building up. For me, I am of the view say baby I do no. You hear ni pasa when you look at the lifestyle, what he stood for. Normal what he criticize to the extent what we criticize on one own party. We need somebody who is that disciplined within this present moment. Ubia hope and trust and confidence help politicians to lead us as a people.
If you know all you need is provoke Kent, and he will go haywire.
Well, and now I made a pronouncement on one of your sister stations, and I said, let Ken be Ken. And I always stand by it. Let Ken be Ken, which I say.
Oh, so you brought that phrase now.
Yes.
Afa ajibebia, let Ken be Ken.
Yes.
Let Ken be Ken. No?
Yes. Yeah, because there is a history to that.
Okay.
Trump, Brana, the campaign manager, one more day, you know, the people, his campaign team felt that we need to change the guy. Now Trump will say, "Who can?" And you can say, "You know, Trump quite know is what the demand term no money are there." Oh, Yabano conviction or sentence or it might be the president. But they realize say the leadership, you know, the every people get the leadership that it deserves, and that the leadership is the reflection of who the people are. Into unya leadership abribiano, akoye more or less like pentimento. Obuti or Yanohoso or Breno Hase, Ahombrasia Hine, incorruptible, Mahama is the hope, but our argument is that Uka temperamental, the other leaders that people also see as timid.
Yeah.
People see other leaders as timid. There are people who also see other leaders say, one crowd, you're manipulative, Buaha, Obiati manipulating. Me, yeah, last election. Yeah, one confirm can say, "Was say that the neighbor just to have control," which may not necessarily be so. These are normal, but we are timid. It may be a weakness, but also it can also be an opportunity. You be leveraging who so. This guy is a calm person. Just like Honorable Ken. Whilst people see him as temperamental, Mimi who say if we he's a human being in our character traits, obviously he will seek to build himself. But Mimi who more or less like a bold and fearless and passionate leader. Yet Mikobi, I had the opportunity to be there half a day. A young man chairman on the papa no relationship. Far microphone. For about 45 minutes. The papa na tem can sem ya. Me, the ordinary expectation is Tanku, se mashiwa bufua na minwa na MC. Ordinarily no. Anka we kura kwa microphone nya dey emma. Kwa de ma another person or for nanka emuadwo ye wi ya na de microphone kwa share ken ya de ensem so onkasa. And the sad part is say abronya yes I no mani nyina no all leadership eto menyu otwe nya de wa obi en ho timi condemn we. Whilst you see him as temperamental, don't you also think say it's part of the Ghanaian value system say obi ya de na nya mpanifo ho say ka che no say ade o ye nya de enye. What I say, Ken may be so passionate about it and talk it in a certain way. Within the Ghanaian context or cultural context, people may not really appreciate it. Say, oh, Ghana the encasemsa. But let me ask you, your cultural context, your katasubo mo so empese normal, your bekan as how it is, in terms of educational transformation. And no, a building roads am I. I build the hospitals am I. And the more about Kufu for millions of dollars contract here, but we get people defending him. Why? Because Ghana the encapenyasem. So for me, there are sometimes you need to call a spade. But I also agree that Nipa, just like all of us, say who leaders busy timid, they need to stand up. When people also view him as temperamental, whilst it can be construed as somebody who is so passionate, bold, and fearless, he also need to work on himself as a human being.
Timidity and temperament, you think temperament is the best?
Well, I don't.
That is if it is so between timidity and temperament.
For me, I am of the view that the people of Ghana are more interested in what these two, I mean, without even putting names or faces to them, but I can speak for Honorable Ken. The people of Ghana are more interested in what he can do for them based on his lifestyle, what he stands for, and what he has stood for in the past. Somebody who are challenging the party. Say, hey, look at this. Nipa, how many years now in politics? Has there been any tag of corruption on him for once? What I say? These are what the ordinary people of Ghana seeks. That pentimental style of leadership, no. Okova that boy di. Now no me hear in the video ba kuno Obama BBT. Obedi MP about any bio.
Onya
tam kra. Me hu nkrofo abra no mpepo so mo kwatsa oni nipa di bayere. Na wo gwamtanko. Are you more interested in the oni obedi bayere and the obejo ma healthcare? We need to, as a people, be conscious of that reality. Say a politician, no, you move away from that manipulative politics. Baby, oh, where do you bunipa? Me over kojo reduce style be. Within a certain context, you know, for harmonious living and harmonious building. Obviously, from no church, it's symbolic. Na be a mind for communal labor no anymore. But real to do that. Who wants to say disika ya fa workers ya say ya here MP no akote gatem. No. Me who say all these developed countries and advanced countries are see emulating no. Who say Trump and I say na David Cameron or and now Putin et gatem. No. It's a failure, and we don't need to admit that as leadership. A systemic failure. I just say, my muhano, and then the leadership. As well as some jehine, beba, or bebazuna bokone conflict that's all. But as well as some jehin, Brandon. Our, you see, the template that we have been using to select our presidents has more to do with PR inclined than the reality that we face. That's why I'm saying that let Ken be Ken, let the guy be himself. Only. As an
ordinary Ghanaian, I be a team baby. What is different about what me be bad? Say Ken becoming a president. What's going to be different? What can template be a Ghana hire you for so long?
MY.
So what is going to be different with Ken?
That's why I say I say. If you want development, one, leadership counts. And if you want leadership, true leadership, character counts. Character is everything. So, now, character counts, say, you should look at Nipano, the hallmark or the trademark of him. Say, Mimi no tie. One thing we cannot all deny, and say, yes, Ken, you're no nonsense person. And just add here as my mom. Or Maya need to jump a traffic, to buy a Land Cruiser. Utri any ye police force have been general watch out. Bra we bu emraso. Why? Because obi ebi. Sana etie ha. You need character, you need leadership, you need somebody who can look into everybody's face and say, even if the whole country say, sa da ye jitu mo onye day, onyintu, ne mretia. Character, leadership counts. What about the lifestyle and the life situation? What does it stand for? Me, me key no. I gave you a statistics. Nkore we school. Half of that national service batch we school. Averagely, you are looking at about 150 to 200,000 every year. Universities, including the private universities, will graduate. It will take a minimum of 10 years for half of that batch to get permanent employment. The other half will still be searching. If you want to break it down, Nkura school be a NIPA 12 be a, the state can only recruit 2. I'm a young person. Me who say my future is very bleak.
Of course.
People are living American dream, but I cannot even live my own dream in my own country. To the extent they say, they are not foreigners in their own country. A government comes in and he says that your first love letter is dismissal letter. We are 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 7 years, averagely. And no be the ejuma. Me na me say me politically exposed. I mean, me that's me 3 years old. Azana minejuma. So buza ho obi ono te mimi kroma sante atem dom yabra. So the situation is very scary that if you ask me, can Honorable Ken, can the campaign team should save Ghana? Because situations like this, you need somebody the lifestyle no enya ba so waka ho asem at his own private level no, in terms of the biggest challenge and the biggest problem I can't want some, which has to do with the unemployment course, you know, and the lifestyle. What has it been about it? And then you can't pay a runner no. your campaign has always been more general. Into any individual base and affecting individual life. And until na buy bia MPP beka free SHS. Yeah, one district, one factory, one village, one dam. But you see, you could see interchange. AC East Legon. Now we commission, now video, now Santifo in share. The average person no cocoa farm interchange who so faso. So it's about the time our discussions about politics should be more individual centered. You building the individual lives. Creating Numa. Memu anem kra nya binya dey enye no wonya binya also entoka also akosi interchange ono the car of wire dey ohun so mfa so for me that's what I believe Ken stands for, that aspect of FIMA to be building any building the human capacity and mani bibinyo, and his lifestyle has demonstrated as at now Nejuma Wabieno has been able to recruit 7,000 people. The mindset now has to do with entrepreneurship. Believe you me, what the Maken Mranon can't say, or the entrepreneurship alone, be revolutionize Ghana to cause change. Now ubi abra bomu enye abra bomu ye ya. Now unya bibi and sakwa no timisha or yerenoma. That is where the evolution of development can start from. So for me, I believe that beyond his lifestyle, Sebia Wabobra in terms of the entrepreneurship skills and now even about the character traits, what he stands for. A no nonsense man, disciplinarian, patriotic. I say same way say no. I am of the view say if you would net and when he had compare all other people are a boy. And finally, even as an MPP, we need him. Senya Ken pa, let's be very honest, and I'm very mindful here because
na me ba be bisa what na me kono say
yes.
Omo amini omo akasa ebia to be catch me say it is easier for Ken to become a president than for him to become the flag bearer of the new patriotic party. Why is it so?
I think context is also very important. And the context is that what they compare previously na abayin woha, it looks like Dr. Baumia had more acceptability with the establishment than
the incumbency
advantage. So a vice president, he had more access to the ordinarily, it was more or less like he had a very good system in terms of how the electoral system college to win.
It's not like that now.
It's not like that now because they say because I mean, how could you have an election previously? All 137 MP support one candidate. I mean, there is I wouldn't say it's questionable, but is intriguing. How can we have an election at all DC is at 260 say 267 constituencies, so to say no 237, all 237 constituencies. DC be a support to one candidate, or appointee be a support to one candidate. It means that, well, at that time people felt Dr. Bamia, but of course with the electoral outcome, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people may want to amend their position. For me, I think right now is the reverse. The reverse is however true. I've met a lot of people who told this almost something came by the better day. I feel he has a very brighter chance of winning the primaries and even both the general elections.
Should there be changes to new patriotic party? Said the more constitution any other because there have been number of course. Say you support that idea?
Oh, certainly. I mean, situation warrants its own response. And so that idea be any penny na be who say it depends on how you look at it. When you take advantage of it, a bit me we see jina pen we loss you buy amaya ankasa ye 2 year home for asua ye ho normal bebre. And part of the opese mo kam ho bo mu sa eden sesan e ba na hu say you've rebranded, you've learned and those things. There are a lot of things that you also have to change. And one of them also has to do with the constitution. I think there's been proposal first of all Mekai ye court tunnel. Honorable Ken make a proposal. I say, one, Ubia, you're in a free party in Mubia, whether on the phone party, whether party in the phone, the info behind the Emra back. That's the amnesty bit. And there's also a lot of proposals about opening up the electoral college. Because you say, and no one before than Kofoso, so it's one of the reasons and Kofoso, Edijina, so Man Kotoabano. So those reforms, those proposals is in order. Now, at the end of the day, just we have to get expansion and get everybody to participate or involve, and that for me reflects the true essence of democracy. No be hamrem. It's in right order.
Unity of party.
Yes.
Unity.
Now, question you say me say nimka kamenka. What be that you see ntuma go fi wa bonte.
There's something. Me ne ken Asia say once in my entire adwuma me. Na Franco will tell you I like him. I've said it. Me tell radio so I can. Until I'm that person that oya de na ya me tena me can bibi o na ntwe ya me can. Baba ni na banken. Beze o can bibi kire no mame. Say amanfo be hye na bufuo pa.
No correct.
Amanfo be hye na bufuo pa.
No correct.
And the enanu say me make statement bi o ha say ya wo se be kum osono a on pepere kusie ne nkrante ho.
No correct.
Na onkobu na your target is osono. Ese me kum osono. The osono na me ko akuku. I think Ken is in competition not with any constituency chairman, regional chairman, any other party member kitobia, but it's a competition, if you like, here with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And the Mr. Wa said, "Yeah, on your no. Sebia, or no can be na ye, you know, be a person be yano and near dear, and yes, sank or more Canada. Mira, ea mumu munyano, o mamo munyano. Other than that, wombetchina de na gatem.
Okay.
The bedroom baby or person we need free gatem no na quite too late. Me dear, my say I've sat on this network na maka. Say na abronya de nya wanted him ya. Do baby a kasa na ya. But he's not in competition with abronya. Then you can go fee no. Ya pa. Then you go fee no kra. Into Mr. Ye ko any no. Systematically helps the way they graduate comedy.
Me no ya dwena me da sen so said you a photo dey obi here photo. And so he's in right. And the good thing is that he's even watching the show.
Oh, okay.
But just a quick one. Who say I agree. It's also net here. A lot of people hold Ken in higher standard than Abronya. Ade Abronya be ya fan we di wo Ken ko ya onya dey onfa ho ni. Because Abronya
on the Abronya we no omon kana sem no.
Entina
attend there so akokasa tie hia for all the ho na kwa
and quickly just a context na ho no mo fidie de kwache pa. Na me wo ho. We live with disability ewenani se bi wo hu ade. One more the proposal or the truck cutter obi truck cutter man no or a party na some party pa na che glaucoma set in.
Okay.
The we sit down ya no untimi enya ahoden ye dey emo so say obayare along the way.
Yeah.
So omo the cutter buy. To omo the cutter buy im say mpanifo we dey man we need dey man we. Omo pass ya na be do general secretary. Na general secretary dey cutter dem ma ken say hey ujamfo wo dey say wadwuma ni edi kopesika ye dey emo papa no. Ti be kai say that time on 7,500 cedis.
Okay.
Ehwa na bronya incident ni ye dey esi ye. Inti context ni ye say ebra na ye pesika ma obi no. Wo ye ho so ye hia ni. Me na de bre me by a drew say problem na de obi atem dia una hear from when I can go assembly nyina no but who say wo de abufu e kasema instead of hearing no say here for and I Ghana for nyina say so say here for but the contest was not who say background now man obi han tia say so was wo de here for nyina the atem in terms of nipa lifestyle and the conduct and what he stood for why na say be waboa mobro ani omo ni be than Ken in MPP nobody the list can go on. It's been a way of life. If you want to also measure so much on Sir or transits now, to be fair, the context has to be properly said. But I don't think say yeah, DSO person did here for it. Hey, now go pay president. Do you talk about good here for them? The government here for the doors. Okay, but
quick time.
A question, Mr. First one, say, son, I PR for the education ministry.
Yes, not correct.
Say now the young fan say the former education minister so team so person be the flag bearer for the MPP. will you rescind your decision?
As a former boss.
And a former boss. Because one of my wajuma. Ube Jack and Waka Juma Diamano.
Hey, yes, once a soldier, always a soldier. Oh no, never former boss. God, I'll say a boss. Papa.
Okay.
I think for me, my decision to support Keno is just anchored on one key principle. It has more to do with the missus say 2028 or what Akwanyane Ahoden so bet me winning party in the general election. Mm-hmm. I am sure said Dr. Dutum is a very fine person, just like Honorable Brian, other people are more expressive Dr. Baumia Munina Pesomoba. But Sebio, it has not more to do with you. You also have to listen to a form for. Otato to almost say. Sorry, almost say. Oh, more they can about the better day. Amano. Dr. Dutum can win obviously with the party support, but within imprimpri, Sabre Mon, one also say a form for who so about the Ombetraman. But aside that, say subsequently, no, say 2028, no, oba, other Indian support, in a coordinate. But imprimpri, there is a fine gentleman, fantastic human being, Nejuma obey education. And see, Obi Amemetra radio so born Nejuma who de rono. I should be the first person to believe in him.
Of course.
But within the current circumstance and current context, I call less than 1.7 million. You want to say here somebody like Kennedy Japan. They say you. I say prekese. Obi nimna who say what then what should be to me.
The last question: did religious affect the electoral fortunes in the 2024 elections?
Hey, religion has seven hours a day. Oh, hey, I did Dr. Baumia say affect. Was a quick report to say affected. But for me, look, I respect Dr. Baumia's view. But this is what I'm saying. There's a very sensitive one to me. I quite say basic panic couldn't have and penny for set so I just used 2 minutes to answer. For me, I'll be surprised if Okwe report does not capture religion and ethnicity as factors affected 2024 election. Not on any ill motive, but we are a people of religion. We are a people of culture. Dr. Baumia crowd there didn't buy. Yanka said ne banner just to prevent the whole target MPP account party. Was religiously and tribally motivated. Didn't like him say religion and tribe did not affect the election. Or mind with me, 2 bars mark back 100. Emu 99 a bomb pie and send you 2 bars. We are a people of religion. Kemuni Kwari Christian, recently gave you a minute church and catch manager. First, you catch him so you Christian. And that is a reality. We've only learned to live amongst each other. It does not necessarily mean, say, those religious friends say decisions, or when we are making decisions, we don't make records to those religious and ethnicity. You make it, you're 1592. They be a Santa region to my MPP, voter region to my this. What are you talking about? Say ethnicity affects it. Very say, your electoral outcome. It does. But the whole point now Dr. Kase, we say Dr. example, no, use a sense out, and I'm doing that briefly, just a minute. We say a sense out, or no, Muslim, no, OBT, Reverend Minister, or no, software, or in terms of the elections. But remember, just a brief analysis if you were where at every point, when you take the text out of the context, you only be discussing the pretext and not the text properly so called. I said, now I come confess with Laura, but most of the time, But I want to say, at every point, you should look at the dynamics present before you are able to do a holistic analysis of the course you're in. I sense out as a man, independent candidate here. Independent candidate, we have in team for Joe, no MPP, no, or no puli 26.22%. In team for Joe puli, 39%. And an independent candidate in also puli 22.38%. Right? What can you now, now they compare Dr. Baumia Vosa. Will you be able to make any fair or comprehensive or coherent analysis? If you want to compare, if you want to have a very holistic view or analysis of what really pertained there, you have to compare the presidential elections and other presidential results to that of the previous presidential election. I mean, presidential elections in 2016, GM 35.77%, Nanadonya 62.22%. Now, 2024. Over 2024, GM 50.56%, DMB 46.68%. Into the DMB quite the compare another DMB so say 15.54%. And GM so the course so 14.49%. But in London, what I just want to say is the independent candidates, na or pro MPP guy and one votes in me a day that's how come you see Dr. Bawumia's votes being higher but the Dr. Bawumia votes compared to the predecessor President Akufo-Addo the votes also rather 15% and John Mahama votes rather went high by 14%. So you cannot use that as a test case to say religion did not affect. We are people of religion, a people of culture. All our decisions are born out of religion and ethnicity. Why do you say about the NDM play? It plays a role.
Okay.
How do you, I beg to differ.
Lawyer, we are grateful, Anope.
So,
we'll do this one again.
Sure.
I fear to be near. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, and I pay penny anti 70 come more a Kwasi Kwarteng legal practitioner, a member of the NPP communication team 97